Yeah, I have not bought souvenirs. At least I don't buy souvenirs in the traditional sense. I don't. Hey there, my handsome and beautiful Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobra's Nest. For those who are here and new, my name is Mignon Cobra, and I make minimalism videos. Today's video is going to be 20 things that I no longer buy. So without further ado, let's just get into the list. Let's get it. Let's go. Woo. Number 1, cups and plates. I move a lot, so I don't buy cups and plates much anymore. I think the last time I bought a cup or a plate was probably back in 2015 when I first moved into the dorm room. I went to Carrefour and I just picked up some really cheap $5 cups and plates, just like ceramic, and I've just been using that ever since. I haven't really had the need to repurchase, so I haven't bought a cup or a plate in like over 5 years. Alright, number 2, house decor. Since I've been living in a dorm room for 5 years, I never really felt the need to decorate. I just felt so sad that if I left and I didn't have space to put in my luggage, I couldn't take it with me. So I just got used to having bare walls, and now I really do like that aesthetic. And if I do have house decor, I just mostly use like a picture or a postcard that's really easy to take down and put away in my luggage. Number 3, razors for parts that ladies like to shave and stuff like that. I just use these little trimmer scissors that people use for like trimming their nose hair. They're very like small and delicate, and I just use that instead. I'm sorry if that's like too much information. I feel like it has longer use, and I feel bad that the razor blades are going to landfill, so I figured that this is just a more sustainable option. Number 4, hair dye. I have been on quite the hair journey, and I stopped dyeing my hair I think over 4 years ago, so I haven't bought any hair dye. I wanted to enjoy my natural hair color for a period of time before I hit my 30s and gray hair started to come in, and then I'd have to start re-dyeing again. Number 5, holders or organizers, or I guess containers for holding things or organizing things. I don't buy these anymore. Ever since I've been watching more Minimalist, I see that a lot of them talk about how those things kind of encourage you to accumulate more things. So I just figured I don't want anything encouraging me to collect and hoard stuff, so I just try my best to not collect those, especially for the sake of organization, because I'll do it, so I can't let myself. Number 6, excessive socks, excessive underwear. I have a little bit more than just enough for a week, and Will and I, we do laundry often enough, so I haven't run into a problem of running out of underwear. Sometimes there are, and I guess I just wash it by hand and it's ready the next morning. I feel like to have more underwear, I'm not willing to sacrifice this extra space that it takes up both mentally and physically just to have underwear when it's such a small piece of fabric that if I wash it, it would be dry the next day. Number 7, extra phone cases. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't have extra phone cases. I have a clear one that came for free with the phone, but I do like a black aesthetic, so I did go out and buy a black phone case. So I currently have 2 phone cases, but I don't go out and buy multiple phone cases. This used to be an addiction that I used to have in my youth. I think in my like early 20s, I think I owned over 40 or 50 phone cases for my iPhone 4. So I guess in comparison to that, 2 ain't bad. Number 8, conditioner. Because of my hair journey, I don't buy conditioner anymore. That actually just ended up being a happy accident. I wasn't going to sacrifice not having certain things for the sake of minimalism. I ended up not buying conditioner just because some of the tips and tricks for curly hair was that not using conditioner because it has silicone in it, so I gave it a try, and I'm really happy with how nice my hair has gotten since I stopped conditioner, so that's just not something that I buy anymore. Number 9, luxury items. This one is a really tough one, and I want to put a disclaimer. I'm not here saying like, oh yeah, I don't buy luxury items. I've kind of come to a different place where I am with luxury items. Okay, so some background info. I really do love luxury items. I have always loved luxury items. I guess this is probably due to growing up downtown and constantly being bombarded with advertisements, but I have a soft spot for luxury items. But I am currently working on my relationship with advertising and consumerism, so I don't really purchase luxury items, or I guess lust after luxury items as I used to. So what I do now is I try to buy good quality items that don't have brands on them to kind of give myself that feeling of luxury, and I try not to get sucked into the fashion houses and associating my worth with it. This is just something that is a personal journey of mine. I love luxury items, and I think I always will, but at this current moment in time, I'm practicing not buying into the whole culture, let alone the items themselves, because they are quite pricey. Alright, number 10, paying for haircuts. So when I was in China, I would pay for a haircut once or twice a year, and as time went by and my hair got longer and I guess healthier, I started trimming it myself, and I guess the way the the curl blends. If I like mess up, you can't really tell, unlike with, I guess, straight hair. Maybe it's more obvious, but it looks fine, looks decent. I don't think anybody can notice whether a salon did it or I did it. Number 11, the latest / most expensive phone or gadget. There was a period of time I was really into keeping up with the latest technology, especially when it came to phones. Oh, as you can see, I really do like phones, hence why how many phone cases I collected in the past. It took frugality to help kick the habit of constantly upgrading. I think I stopped upgrading around, I guess, the iPhone 7, whatever year that was. That was the year where I decided to start holding on to my phones for at least 3 years. So my last phone I held on to for like 3.5 years, and my current phone I've had for over a year, and the only reason that I upgraded was because my phone died. So that's kind of the relationship I have with my technology. I try my best to not get sucked into the hype of the latest upgrade. I don't buy into it, and I feel like, why not just cherish my phone for a couple years, and that way when I do upgrade, I feel like, oh yeah, it was worth it. Alright, number 12, memberships. I started working out at home back in 2016. In 2015, I had a gym membership at the university beside my university because my university didn't have a gym. I kind of got the idea from Mr. Money Stash to just kind of make a gym at home. So I actually ended up investing the amount that I pay in an annual membership into a treadmill. So once I had a treadmill at home, which is more or less what I used to go to the gym for, I started working out at home, and then I started doing like home workouts. And yeah, after that, it's been like 4 years since I've bought a gym membership. And moving forward, I'll probably do the same thing here in Canada, because it's just really nice to be able to work out at home and then just jump into your shower and you didn't waste any travel time. Number 13, special machines. I think also a disclaimer with this one, I was a student, so how in the world was I going to collect these special machines? And then, so I didn't collect special things like a coffee maker, a rice maker, I don't know what other makers there are, but pancake maker, waffle maker. I just felt like I had a pot and I just used that for everything. It was the Swiss Army knife of food, and if I could make it with that, I'd make it with that, and if I couldn't, I'd just go over to my friend's house, David, and cook there. And I'm not much of a cooker, so that happened seldomly. I think like maybe tops like 3 times in a year. So I felt like it was a good time to socialize with David because he's a cooking fiend, and it was just more fun to make it a social event than to invest in these machines that if I fell in love with a machine, I couldn't take it home with me. Alright, number 14, new clothes, trends / brand name stuff. I love clothes, and this one was a big one for me to let go of all of these things to kind of kick the habit of following trends. I think I kicked the habit probably somewhere in 2015, 2016, where I decided to do the minimalist uniform. So I wore just black clothes, and I did that for about like 3 or 4 years, and that was my uniform. And it was via that I was able to kind of not participate in trends. It was this year in 2020 that I changed my style, and I bought some clothes and I revamped my style, and I started wearing a lot more beiges and creams. So what I'm trying to say is, it's not to say that I don't buy into trends, but I don't buy into such fast trends. So for example, I'm not buying clothes seasonally. I buy clothes every several years. So I have a uniform or a personal style for a period of time, and then once I kind of tire of it, I let myself change. I think that a more longer period of time is just better for me. I just don't really feel like buying into the trends because they're really fast. I don't like changing my style every like spring, and then the next spring change it again. It's just, I don't know, my clothes cost me money, and I'm really attached to my clothes. I just could not forsake an item just because it's no longer in style. I would just keep wearing it. I would just do the fashion faux pas, and why do that to myself? So since I didn't want to participate in trends and look stupid the next season, I decided to find something very classic and very minimalistic and just invest in that. So every year I looked good, and I didn't have to keep spending money or decluttering pieces that I love just because they're not in style anymore. Along that vein, name brands. There's nothing wrong with name brands. I loved name brands growing up, but for a practical reason, I just didn't think it looked as like sophisticated and classy with like branding on the front. It looks a little too casual for my liking, and if people will know that that's the particular shirt that you wore the day before, but if it's like clean, it's less likely. Like you can own many white tees and nobody would really notice, versus tees that have like stuff written on it, people can kind of tell. And I guess as I mature, I'm trying to look at this more from like a perspective of taking my identity and self-worth away from brands. And disclaimer about that, I do have clothes that still have brands on them, and I'm slowly taking my time to declutter them at my own pace. I'm not trying to be dogmatic and just throw and declutter everything that I own that has brands. I don't see the point in that, so I will be using and finishing up my brand clothes, but moving forward I won't buy them anymore. So number 15, Skincare. When I didn't wear makeup back in the year that I did my March no makeup, I got really obsessed with skincare. I felt like since I can't wear makeup, I might as well have a flawless skin. But the thing about skincare is that I realized once I did my recovery, my skin broke out terribly due to my hormones, and no amount of amazing skincare saved my skin. It was through that I realized that skincare actually doesn't do anything, therefore it's kind of a waste of money. So don't get me wrong, I love skincare and I think it's very pampering and self-care, but I don't buy nearly as much as I used to. So I think I just have like the two. I either have like a rose gold water and I have like an aloe, and like that's it. Number 16, cigarettes and alcohol. I was never a cigarette smoker, so I'm really glad that I never spent money on this, but I guess I just threw it in there because people do smoke but I don't, so I'm pretty grateful that is one addiction I didn't have to spend money on. And the other one is alcohol. I never was a big alcohol drinker. I can't really hold my liquor. But when I was in my 20s, I would go to the club and I would buy alcohol and or like party with my friends. But now that I'm older and I've kind of become a hermit at home, I don't really spend nearly as much money on alcohol as I did in the past. Not that I did. I think I drank alcohol like 3 times a year. I just feel like getting drunk doesn't really serve me and it also damages the liver. So if offered alcohol, I'll take it, but I definitely won't be going out of my way to get it. On that note though, I do drink soju on my birthday, so I guess I do drink alcohol, or I do pay for alcohol once a year, but beyond that. Number 17, takeout drinks. Oh lord, if you've watched my China vlogs, you guys know that I drank cocoa every single day. I guess so I did have an addiction to a drink, it just wasn't alcohol. I drank a lot of milk tea and that is a habit that I really had to kick. I tallied up how much milk tea I was drinking, like from cocoa, and I spent over 2,000 Canadian on milk tea from the store. So I decided that I'm going to be making my own drinks from now on, make my own milk tea, make my own coffee, and hopefully save some money because I really don't need to be spending $2,000 on milk tea. Number 18, seasonal decor. I kicked this habit back in 2015 and I told myself you don't need seasonal decor. That was one of the more hardcore minimalism principles that I decided to adhere to. I decided not to buy seasonal decor, and I think it's a bit radical because I think seasonal decor is beautiful. Halloween decor, Christmas decor, Thanksgiving decor. I love that stuff. I actually used to buy a lot of decor when I was younger and I lived at my mom's place. My room was filled with little trinkets that I would buy from Forever 21. I've actually mentioned that in one of my videos, but in terms of like buying seasonal decor, I buy it anymore. And I think for Christmas, I really felt very nostalgic for a little Christmas tree. So I think like a friend gave me this mini tiny Christmas tree. It was like the size of my hand and you could put like a battery in it and it would like light up. So throughout the years in China, I just kept this little mini Christmas tree and I would light that up for Christmas, and that was my Christmas tree. So don't get me wrong, I'm super sentimental and I love seasonal decor, but I just feel like as a minimalist, I just don't want the extra clutter and it's just in my mind not worth it, even though I love it. So I made that decision early on in my minimalism journey that I just was not going to buy into seasonal decor. Alright, 19, bulk food. Will loves to hoard snacks. He likes buying like lots of packaged stuff, but I feel like for myself, I didn't like the clutter that it created. Like, don't get me wrong, I love having like lots of food in the house too, but I just didn't like that I had to like clean the surfaces when all of the packaging would just kind of clutter our already small dorm room. So Will and I talked about it and we decided to stop buying food in bulk and just buying what we needed, and it being able to be in the fridge like fresh food. So we haven't really bought bulk food in a couple years now. Number 20, a large wardrobe. In the dorm room, I was given a very small cabinet so I could just house my entire year's worth of clothes in there. So from that point forward, I developed how to maintain a capsule wardrobe. And since that point forward, I had got rid of the desire to maintain a large wardrobe. When I lived in Canada, I had a lot of clothes. I had a very large walk-in closet at my mom's house. But obviously, if you guys know my story, when I moved to China, I had to declutter a lot of it. So maintaining a large wardrobe is something that I'm not interested in. It doesn't matter if I'm given more space in the future, I will still maintain a small wardrobe. And 2 bonus things that I threw in here later is planners. I don't maintain a planner anymore, and I hadn't for about 3 or 4 years, but actually recently I did purchase one because I found that always keeping all of my stuff on my laptop was making my mind very cluttered, and writing it down like manually was actually helping my thoughts. So that's actually something that I still do buy, but I haven't for a while, so take that with a grain of salt. And the last one is souvenirs. Yeah, I have not bought souvenirs. At least I don't buy souvenirs in the traditional sense. I don't buy those little magnets for the fridge or things that are pictures of where I went. When I go somewhere for vacation or just go anywhere in general, my souvenirs are me taking pictures of the place or me buying something there that I was going to use anyway. So for example, during my Korea trip, I picked up Korean cosmetics and skincare, which I used up. So I had a souvenir and I felt very happy bringing it home, but I used it up and I finished it. I also buy a lot of snacks. Those are my souvenirs. It's more perishable things. So I guess I don't really buy traditional souvenirs. I buy more things that I was going to use or buy anyway. Anyway, that is 20 things plus 2 that I no longer buy. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.